Coming to you live from the JRE Tobacco Aladino Mobile Studios, it's the Cigar Pulpit.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm Bishop Burton Nick, and I'm, I say 95, 98% back to normal. Just have a little bit of, gunk in the chest here that I'm every once in a while coughing up, and I don't quite sound 100%. But by God, I'm back. I'm smoking, and coming at you again with me. It's everybody's favorite Aladino sales director, Trey Mac Shipley. How you doing, Trey?
Good. I'm taking solid dumps for first time in 20 days.
You know what? That's a fucking miracle in and of itself. I'll give you that.
It is.
It is.
100%.
It is. So once again, I want to thank Trey Mac for coming in. He's the MVP pinch hitter of the fucking pulpit, because this has been one of those days where I spent all day messaging people. Hey, can you want to do a show tonight? I can't. I got this going on. I got this going on. I got fucking youth hockey. I get this going on. I got fucking first communion, I think, was one of the excuses I heard today. I mean, it's just one thing after another. But then motherfucking Iron Man, the Iron Man, fucking Trey Mac, I message him and he's like, I'm doing another show. I can just stay on and do yours.
Listen, I've been on Zoom calls from 8 a.m. until 4:30ish today. And then I had to do another show with an influencer. And then you're hitting me up in the middle of that show. And I'm like, fuck yeah, I'll finish this. I'll jump on yours. And
I won't delight the people with the exact phrasing of how you said, yes, we'll do this show. I'll leave that as a private joke between you. You know what, guys? I'll show you the text messages at Pulpit Fest. Tell you what, I will.
That's fine. You have to come to Pulpit Fest.
You got to come to Pulpit Fest, and you can see the text messages. I will take a screenshot right now.
The show I was just on, I brought up Pulpit Fest. At the same time, Nick was calling me for some help, and I'm like, yo, motherfuckers need to go to Pulpit Fest. So we might have some randos show up to Pulpit Fest that are just from another show, and like let's grow this motherfucker.
That's okay. That's
part of the fun, baby.
The more the merrier. It's all cool. So anyway,
I even told an ex bang buddy about Pulpit Fest,
Ex bang buddy.
Yeah. She came back.
Oh, okay.
She's been gone for 2 years.
I mean, you always welcome them back into the tent.
She came back and she was like, I really thought I was going to start this RV tour in Florida, but Florida's gotten fucked up. And I'm like, yeah. And here's the thing. Like, this sounds like a fucking like dirty ass, like hillbilly bullshit. No. This woman's a multi-millionaire.
Okay.
But she likes the dirty shit.
Okay.
And I was like, no. There's a place in Florida that you thought you were writing off the whole state. You travel for a living nonstop. Like, you should check out Palm Coast. In fact, you should probably check it out when I'm there. Now, let me tell you what, brother, if she shows up, all hell's going to break loose, but we'll have a good time.
I mean, it's going to be a fun time no matter what. So
it will be.
Yes. So today, though, we're going to have a fun time, kind of prematurely celebrating a little St. Patrick's Day. And I'm at least, I don't know what the fuck you're smoking. I'm smoking the new Aladino Candela Toro that I saved, that you gave me. I saved this for this occasion. I saved it from TPE.
So you haven't smoked it yet at all?
I haven't smoked it. I've smoked the Robusto, but this is the first time I'm smoking the Toro.
It's different.
Okay.
And I don't know if you want me to be an asshole.
I mean,
but I am one certified.
Okay.
But that's what I smoked on the podcast before. So now I don't have one to smoke.
It's okay. You didn't know you were coming on here.
This was not know. This last is a minute surprise.
Yes.
Last minute, right before I fly out to Vegas.
Yeah.
Screw it. It's chaos right now.
That's the other fucking part of this. I couldn't find a guest, partly because, my local people have lives. And the other half of the people,
Bro,
industry people, fuck, they are all Vegas. Like mindset, it's
I don't
100% Vegas.
I don't
Like,
know
I
if you
can't
want
get
me to
anybody.
I don't know if you want me to go into this, if you want to do like a segment where we go into like what's going on in the industry right now before PCA, but let me tell you what,
Yes.
bro, all hell has breaking loose.
Let's talk. Well, you know what?
It's
Let's fire up
crazy.
a cigar and then we'll talk about all hell
Let's
breaking
do it.
loose. So it's time to cut the cigar, and the official cutting is brought to you by Dan the Man Ponder over there at Riverman Cigar Company of Crestwood, Missouri. And Dan the Man Ponder, he's got Aladino. By God, does he have Aladino? And you can get. I know he has some of the Robustos still, but does he have the Toros? Do you know?
I do not know, but I can find out.
Okay.
Here's what I'll say.
Thought you might know off the top of
They
your head.
are two different cigars.
They are.
And you'll find out when you smoke this one.
Okay.
Both very, very nice, but they do come across differently. They were blended differently.
Okay.
So I'm excited to hear what you think about the Toro. I know you had the Robusto last year.
I did like the Robusto.
It's very nice. There's
Yeah.
the show I just got off on, like it was a good segue.
Wait,
because
you did what?
Fuck you. But it was a
what
good
kind
segue.
Of show were you on? Son of a bitch.
Fuck you. The last show I was just on before I jumped on this one.
Yeah.
They had conveniently done 3 other Candelas before ours.
Oh.
And it was wonderful because I was like, guess what? You guys have done now the 4 Candelas that I give a shit about. There's a lot of Candelas out there. There's 4 that I think are really good, phenomenal, and they're all 4 different. And so it was like fun to be like, everybody light up the Candela. Let's talk about this one. You've had the other ones. Tell me about this one.
Yeah.
And you have had the Robusto.
I have.
You haven't had this year's rendition.
I have
the
not had it, but I'm about to.
And I'm stoked.
And guys, you can get yours by reaching out to Dan the Man Ponder at Riverman Cigar Company. And if you're not in the St. Louis area, by God, he does mail order. I don't know if you're going to be able to get it in time for St. Patrick's Day. Probably not, since this is a Friday show and St. Patrick's Day is Sunday. But, maybe you can get that overnight shipping. I don't know.
Listen,
maybe Cindy likes you enough to do that. I don't know.
Well, hey, listen, St. Louis is one of the few cities that really goes hard for St. Patrick's Day.
We do. We like an excuse to drink in St. Louis.
Yeah, I would say.
I mean, we have the second best Mardi Gras in the country.
I would believe that as well.
Oh, it's legit.
I've
kind of surprised you haven't been.
I've actually never been. I was one day away from Fat Tuesday in St. Louis one time.
My God.
But I had to go. So I have not experienced Mardi Gras in St. Louis.
Okay.
I've experienced other things like World Series championships in St. Louis, which
I mean, we've had plenty of those in the day.
Which that's another story. If you want to talk about that one tonight, that was
we got all
I don't
kinds of
really
stories.
want to go to. I don't want people to have the wrong thought of me and think I'm some sort of predator.
Oh God.
But I set a record at the Tigers and the when was that 2004 some shit like that.
Maybe I don't know.
The Tigers and the Cardinals World Series. I was there. I believe it was Game 6. When I tell you that last pitch, I was downtown. We couldn't get tickets to the game, but we were downtown. And when that ended, the amount of people running in that city, you could feel it. You could feel the ground.
Yeah.
And then it was obviously very apparent that everybody's very happy.
I mean, they should be.
I decided to take advantage of said situation.
Oh my.
And then John Kruk, during a commercial, yelled at me and my friends and threw a cup at us.
Oh. Okay.
But I don't know if you want to go into that story. I don't know if I should go into that story, but
Probably, you know what? If you're questioning it, maybe we'll clear it later. But in the meantime, run, don't walk to Riverman Cigar Company of Crestwood, Missouri. And with that, it's time I go ahead and cut my cigar. See how I use your running thing there?
beautiful.
It was my way of segueing back to the ad. So, give this guy a cut. Now, one thing I will notice right off the bat, and I noticed this both about the Toro and the Robusto, is that your Candela, unlike other Candelas are fucking fluorescent green practically. Like this thing, though, very muted, almost a brown, like
It's
a very
close.
It's closer to a brown than it is a green color.
It's now if you hold it up in the light, you can tell.
Yeah,
it's
you get
green.
a little hint, but if you just look at it, it almost looks like kind of a pale.
It's not far from natural.
Yeah,
it's not. And that goes into the way that Julio does it.
I'm doing a cold draw, and there is something distinct. It's almost like a Newton cookie, like a figgy Newton cookie.
I'm not against that one bit because I like fig.
Like a fig Newton cookie. I'm like, yeah, feeling the fig Newton cookie thing going on. All right. So, giving this guy a light because, you gotta smoke a cigar.
Dude, it's
anyway,
Patrick's Day. Let's burn that shit. Let's go. Look at that flame. You got it. I got it. That was a great light.
Fucking beautiful. You got to take time with the light, by the way. You can't just rush the light. So,
tell me, okay, hold on. You're smoking this bitch now.
Okay.
So you did the cold draw. You got some fig, which is interesting because that's not a taste you would normally get from a Candela. And now you've got the initial light. What's your initial experience?
Just did a retrohale. It's very smooth. No, oppressive. There's not really even any spicy notes to the retrohale, at least off the bat. Because correct me if I'm wrong, it's a Candela wrapper, but it's a Corojo binder and filler, right?
It is Corojo binder and filler, which adds the spice.
Yeah.
The wrapper is undisclosed, and we're going to keep it that way.
Oh, but it's Candela.
It's Candela, but you don't know what kind of Candela.
But I don't know what kind of Candela. That's true.
For all you know, it could be San Andreas Candela. You have no idea.
My God. This is true. Okay.
No idea.
Well, no, it is smooth. I don't know. There's maybe perhaps just a little itty bitty bit of that Corojo spice to the smoking experience. I didn't get it on the retrohale, but just that little hint on the smoking experience, just in the back of the tongue. But you don't get that intense grassiness that you get from other Candelas. It doesn't taste like lawn clippings.
It does not, which is nice. And that's kind of where I get pissed off because, Candela used to be the predominant leaf. Like if you're talking about the 70s, the majority of the 80s.
Yeah.
Candela was, and Julio was the world's largest grower of Candela at both of those times.
Interesting.
And it was the predominant wrapper because you could get it to market. It tasted good.
It's quick. It's so quick.
And then when the cigar boom in the 90s happened, the other people that they basically commandeered it, they were like, oh shit, the demand has skyrocketed for cigars. People already like Candela. Let's all make a bunch of Candela. And they just did it quick and dirty. And it became grassy and bitter. And then
it's not bitter. That's the other thing. This is not a bitter cigar.
This
Yeah.
is what Candela used to be.
Gotcha.
And so like now, but fast forward 20 years, it was kind of bastardized, and people think like if they see a green cigar, oh, that means it's grassy and bitter. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
no, that's just what happened in this industry for half of your life. It wasn't like that before. And there's a way to do Candela that gives you a different smoking experience, but is not grassy or bitter. And like Julio's trying to bring that back. He misses those days. Of course, he was the forefather of all that shit.
Oh yeah, I mean, so
Bring it
so he's obviously, passionate about it and gonna try and push it.
Yeah.
So, well, very cool.
But at the same time, it is different than the Robusto that you had.
It has been a minute since I smoked the Robusto. I think the last time I had a Robusto was probably on the show. I think I had like in one of our episodes when I smoked like 3 Robustos in an entire episode because you and I tend to go a little long. It doesn't have. I feel like the spice level on the Robusto was stronger. This one is a little bit more.
You are absolutely
pared
correct.
down. Yeah.
You have a good memory. That's
okay.
100% true.
Well, good. All right. I feel good. Pat myself on the back. So, the last time you were on, we talked about a travel thing. And after the episode was done, we're texting back and forth. And you said, damn, I got this other story that I should have told. And you teased it with me. And motherfucker, like, you're here to tell that story. Like,
okay.
Just the text message, you threw out just enough that like you hooked and like drugged me. I mean, it's like I had to hear the story.
I will tell that story tonight. It's personal. It is uncouth. But the one thing I love about cigar lounges, is that this is when guys typically tell the real stories about the shit they've been through.
Sure, it's fun.
And this is one of the real stories that I've.
And here's the thing for any lady listeners, this is just an example of how stupid guys can be.
Yeah, or how maybe you should listen to guys in weird situations.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Okay. That's true.
Okay.
Maybe I shouldn't explain it before I know what actually went down.
Okay. It's not my show. This is yours.
No.
But I would say we've teased the people.
Okay.
But let's talk about some cigar shit.
Oh, yes. You were going to talk about what is going on in the industry leading up to PCA.
All right. Let's talk industry shit.
Let's do it.
Then we'll talk Aladino shit.
Do it.
And then here's a fucked up story shit.
Oh, love it. That's a pulpit episode summed up perfectly.
And I don't think the moon will come up at all.
By the way, I've been seeing a lot more interest in the fact that it's rusting and the fact that it makes no sense that it's rusting because there's no oxygen or water on the moon, which are the 2 things you need in order for iron to rust.
Why else would water be important?
Well, life, obviously, but
footprints.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's true. Oh, you're right. You wouldn't make footprints if there's no moisture in the ground.
Yeah.
Also, I'd like to point out the explanation that NASA has put forth about how the Earth in various times is perfectly aligned to the moon to where there's this little slipstream of oxygen that like hits the moon from the Earth. And that oxygen might be what's being used to oxygenate the moon perfectly enough to rust it. That is the most fucked up bullshit. Oh my God, everything in the world has to align perfectly to make that happen explanation, which goes right back to all the moon shit you were talking about how none of this should mathematically make sense. And so yet again, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, I'm watching this moon rusting stuff and I'm thinking, damn it, Trey Max hooked me into this. Like, how is this? And I was like,
I don't want to tell you what to believe, but if I tell you some things that don't make sense, perhaps when these new stories come out, you start to connect the dots yourself.
And I'm like looking at it, and I'm like, this doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. Okay. Anyway, so there's our moon conversation.
Can we go a little bit further?
Why not?
Okay, so this might get a little deep and a little dark.
Oh my.
But I'm one of those people. The first thing I do every day in my life is I take extreme right and extreme left news sources. And
Okay.
I read both of them, knowing that I probably don't agree with either.
Mm-hmm.
But I read the extreme right and then I read the extreme left, and then I'm like, all right, let me like figure this out in the middle. Right? Interesting fucking point today from the left.
Oh.
CNN, which I would consider leftist. Now, sadly, I wish they were centrist. And maybe at a point in time they used to be, and they're no longer. They're leftist.
Mm-hmm.
Which fine. I don't care either way. I'm smart enough to figure out like I can listen to both sides and fucking figure this out.
Yeah.
But an interesting thing. Let's get controversial for 5 seconds.
Oh boy.
If we go back to the Maui fires, remember when
Yeah.
Maui
I
was on fire and
remember that.
down?
Yep.
There were conspiracy theories and people that said, hey, we have videos and we saw a laser light this shit on fire.
Okay.
And everybody said, that's got to be doctored. This is bullshit. We don't live Star Wars, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
CNN today.
Uh-oh. CNN.
Go fucking look this up, folks.
Okay.
Demonstrated the US's new laser weaponry.
Oh,
and it's called Dragonfire. And the whole point of the article was to show that if a nuclear war was to break out, that these space lasers could take out
space laser. I know. I see what you did there.
Space lasers.
Yeah, I see what you did there.
They can take out a target the size of a coin from their satellite position in a matter of seconds. And they showed like the laser is open for like 10 seconds, blah, 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 blah. They were trying to like say like Russia's are, threatening nuclear shit. Well, we have these lasers that can fucking take them out.
Okay.
And the videos and pictures that they showed on CNN, I was like,
looks just like Maui, doesn't it?
Seen that in videos.
Oh fuck.
And I'm not saying it's real. I'm just saying it was super awkward that all of a sudden we have these lasers that people were trying to tell us about 6 fucking months ago.
Yeah.
And now I'm more open to looking into that shit that
My God.
I thought might have been bullshit. And now I'm like, maybe it's not bullshit.
My God. Okay.
So look into Dragonfire.
Okay.
Lasers from outer space.
Okay. All right. Well, now let's talk about industry stuff because you didn't want to go down, but I drug you to the moon with the rust. I had to.
That was all you.
Talk about.
I wasn't going to talk about the moon tonight.
I know, but I had to because I've been seeing that a lot lately, and I got it. I wanted to be like, you know what? I got Trey's back on this one. This one's fucking weird. So anyway,
you want me to get you back?
Back to what? Industry stuff? Oh fuck! What is that? You know what? That for my audio listeners, that's where at 24 minutes you gotta go to the YouTube and you gotta see what just crept up onto the screen there.
You have no idea what I just showed on the screen unless you're on YouTube.
Yep. That's your YouTube bonus for this episode. So let's talk industry stuff. What's going on leading up to PCA next week?
All right, so I will be this is hold on.
Names have been changed to protect the innocent. Are we being cryptic? Oh shit.
Full kimono.
We're going with the chest hair. Okay.
Full kimono. I'll tell the people what's going on in this fucking industry because I'm not going to tell everything, but just let people know. Listen,
Let's air some laundry.
COVID was not reality. And
Meaning
that goes for all businesses. Our lifestyle changed during COVID.
it
Okay.
did. So okay. So let me back up before we get too confusing here. You're not saying that the disease didn't exist. What you're saying is that because of the disease and the pandemic, it resulted in a change in our lifestyle
Drastic.
that businesses cannot look at as an actual data point for future advancement.
Yeah, no, it's positive and negative, and my whole point is just to keep shit real. All I want to do is keep shit real.
Okay.
Now, COVID hits 2020, and we have a lockdown. But in our business and the liquor business, everybody decides I'm going to drink and smoke at home.
And sales skyrocket.
Boomed for everyone.
Yeah.
Now, it was good for the cigar industry as a whole because we actually got a bunch of new people that didn't smoke cigars on a regular basis.
Okay.
But they started smoking cigars during the pandemic. Stores benefited. This is all stores. And it was a rocky road. We had to figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
But overall, this entire industry boomed like a mother during the pandemic.
Took a minute, but once we figured out curbside and everything else, I get you. I'm following you.
And I told people, like, listen, like, this isn't going to last forever. But we're also gaining new customers. People that only smoke cigars on Fridays are now smoking at home every day because they only have to be at work on the computer and they're fucking smoking.
Yeah.
Cool. That's an opportunity to get them, like, not only are they smoking more, these are people that smoked once a week. Now we can introduce them to new stuff and they can learn and grow as a tobacconist and really kind of spread their wings and fly.
Okay.
Which is a good thing.
It is a good thing.
However, when you as a business or you as a company decide that this is the new norm and it's just going to be like this forever,
you're not looking at reality.
Bad thing. It's not going to be like this forever. Are we going to gain new customers? Yes.
Yes, but inevitably, some of those people that go back to the office, they're going to reduce down that smoking experience.
100%.
They may not quit and go back to not being smokers at all like they were prior, but maybe they go from being a 3 or 4 time a week down to a 1 time a week smoker if they're back in the office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. That's
no. But you still picked them up. You still picked them up. Even if it's for that 1 time a week, you still picked them up.
And I have had this argument with stores for a while.
Okay.
The last 18 months, if you will, where I'm like, don't compare any numbers now that life is returned to normal, whatever that is, to 2020, 2021, or 2022. Those are outliers.
Yeah.
Compare your numbers to 17, 18, and 19. And inevitably, we have people that are freaking out that weren't freaking out in 17, 18, or 19. Now they're freaking out.
Because it's not like 20, 21, and 22.
Jesus
Christ. Okay.
And so, as an industry, we had this weird optimism going into PCA because that's another anomaly that's been thrown in. PCA has changed greatly. It's changed its date, which throws this whole industry into upheaval because we have to change our timelines and how we get product to market, and it's a mess.
Okay,
it's not impossible, but it makes things difficult. And then you add in the consumer and the retailer, who are now like, well, I'm not smoking like I used to. Oh shit, this is early in the year. I don't have the money that I usually have in the summer to spend on shit. I don't know what I want to do. And it creates this weird formula where everyone was super positive, and then 2 weeks before PCA, everybody starts freaking the fuck out.
Mm.
Which I
So,
try to tell people all the time, chill out. It's fine.
okay. So now, what's your view of where things are at prior to PCA? Are you seeing like less retailers going than you expected? Are you seeing like you having to
So
work a little harder for those orders?
the
Like
answer to
what?
that is yes and no. I
Okay.
see retailers that always go to PCA
Yeah, they're gonna go.
that are planning on buying less or bargaining to have like 2 PCA orders, March and April. That
Ah. Well, now that look, man, when this got
yeah.
announced as being pushed to March, if you go back in the show, I don't remember who I was with. It might have been Dan. It might have been I don't remember who I was on with. It might have been Ponder, from Riverman, but I know I had a conversation about how shops are going to have to figure out, or shops and manufacturers are going to have to work together to adapt to this change in
Yeah.
timeline because of exactly what you're saying, these financial pressures. Not every shop can go to PCA in March and drop $1 million.
Well, and on top of that, let's go a little further because I'm going to give you something that no one talks about. Retailers don't want to talk about it. Manufacturers don't want to talk about it. But let's talk about how if you run a small business, how you pay yourself. Typically, you pay yourself quarterly.
Yeah.
And the first quarter for the majority of the United States is always hard. You just hope to break even, get through the doldrums of winter because, it's for
Oh,
most of the
trust me,
US. Now,
as a small
you're
business owner, I can totally attest to that. I spend the first half of the first quarter chasing money that's still owed to me from the previous year.
yes. Now, if you're lucky enough to live in Southern California, Texas, or Florida, which are three massive cigar areas,
Uh-huh.
like three of the four biggest, really, that's not an issue. But for the other 47 states, it's an issue.
Yeah.
And you need to be cognizant of that because the end of March, which is when we have the show, is also the end of the first quarter.
To which then
Most
retailers are getting ready to pay themselves at the beginning of
yes,
April.
which typically they don't pay themselves much in the first quarter. It's just kind of a let's get through this. Let's put some money in the bank, like whatever we have left, we put in the bank. Blah blah blah, and then we make our real bank the rest of the year.
Yeah.
However, when you put PCA at the end of March, when everybody's trying to pay themselves, you run into a very large conundrum with most of the United States, which is I'm trying to pay myself and you're asking me to pay the most money now.
For the whole year on
Can we work
yeah.
something out? And as someone who used to be a small business owner, I totally get that conundrum. I totally get that feeling. The issue then is how do companies work with these people? How do they work with small business? And I don't know how other companies are going to work with them. I truly don't. I would, if I was a small business owner, I would go to PCA like I always did and say, hey, here's this big ass order I want to do. Can you ship it next week? Because then that starts my second quarter.
Okay.
So I
So
can
it
still
pushes
pay
off that
myself for
purchase.
the first quarter and then I can get the discounts on the second. That's what I would do if I was a retailer. Now,
Yeah.
Am I a retailer for the entire country? No, I don't know how it's going to go. This whole thing is a freaking experiment. And next year will be different because it's in April.
Which theoretically would take care of this problem based upon what you're saying.
Yes.
Gotcha. Interesting.
So we have that issue, and maybe it only affects 60% of company. I don't know what percentage. I'm just throwing shit out there.
Yeah.
But if I were, if I put my shoes back into where I used to be, this would definitely concern me. I would please, here's the order I want to make. Can you please defer it to the first week of April? That would change my life drastically. And for a lot of companies, we don't come out of the doldrums of winter until mid-April, early May. So I don't need product until then.
Exactly.
So there's a bunch of things going on. We're all trying to figure this out. We're all trying to work through it and make it beneficial for everyone. And that is enough if you didn't consider the economy. That by itself is enough to create issues in the industry to where people are like, I'm just trying to figure this out.
But then when you add in the fact that you still have massive inflation, you still have people that are having to choose what bills they're paying and what bills they're letting go for a little while longer because, by God, the price of milk and bread and everything else is through the freaking roof. Gas, I don't know what it is around you, but it's $3.70 a gallon in my area.
Yeah.
Which I know there are parts of the country that it's way higher. There's parts that are way lower. We are what we are. But that all adds up to where suddenly it's more expense on not just retailers, small business owners, but just the average consumer to where, you're not going to the cigar shop and blowing $100 every 2 weeks anymore. You're going to the cigar shop and maybe you're blowing $50 every 2 weeks, if that,
Yep.
Yeah.
And none of us have the answers to this. We're all trying to figure it out on the fly because I don't know anyone in this business. And I know people I love and I know people I don't love in this business. But I don't know anybody that's trying to purposely fuck over the consumer. Even people I don't love. I don't think anybody's purposely trying to fuck over the consumer.
I would hope not.
However, we don't know what the landscape is actually going to be. And we're all trying to figure that out to make it beneficial for everyone. And that creates a certain level of stress, especially when, let's take last year, let's say PCA is in early July, and you still don't have PCA things coming out in July because they're not ready yet.
Uh-huh.
And then you turn around and the next PCA is going to be way earlier than
March.
July. Like, fuck. Like, how much shit do we have to figure out here?
Yeah.
And so I'm sympathetic to the consumer, the retailer, and the manufacturer because we're all going through different things at the same time.
Interesting.
Now, I will say this to those of us that grow our own tobacco and we're vertically integrated, we're in a very nice spot. It gives us,
I mean, you control your own destiny at that point.
It gives, and there's not many companies like that. There's a very, very, very small handful of us.
Okay.
But it does give us an opportunity to make it easier on the consumer, fun for the consumer, and at the same time, like, not shake too many apples in the apple cart, if that makes sense. And I think those are the companies that will make it out of this like very beneficial. Other people I think are going to have a hard time. Which is, this industry has had hard times many times, and hard times always create opportunities.
Well, true. And as you are so fond of saying, the cream rises to the top.
Cream always rises to the top.
I was setting it up. Oh, God. Interesting. Well, I'll be curious to see.
Can I put in a plug?
Sure, go for it.
I really hope Spotlight Scotty gets his ass beat by Frankie Kazarian. Okay? Just throwing that out there.
I need to talk to him about coming on about that. I know he's wanting to. I know he's
Trust me,
dying to.
he's down.
I know he's dying to.
I'm like, how about you call all your people in Alabama before we do that?
Well, that's the thing. It's like, I don't know how much I can help as much as like you ought to just, get everybody that's local to the fight.
And listen, I'm not saying this is true or not, but I heard from a little bird.
I like little birds.
Frankie Kazarian might show up at PCA.
Oh, shit. I want to see a rumble in the aisles. Like right out in front of the Aladino booth. Just freaking spotlight Scotty Brooks. Just getting fucking pile drived.
Michael Hercloss is going to what happened to my table? I have
oh shit! Whatever, man. Herclots will be right there. He'll just be like cheering it on. Oh, that'll be great.
He'd be like, "Let me take off my bow tie real quick."
Fucking Oliver Nouveau coming over and doing the fast 3 count to help out.
Dude, Oliver's my boy. Oliver's my boy.
Oh my god. See,
David Ludwig, he might step aside. He might be like, "Oh, it's just too much for me." But this is the fun thing. This industry is super fucking fun, and I hope people don't. Be. It should be 100%. But the thing is, when you have all these stressors, that's when people like lose their fucking minds. And this is a tiny industry, and stressors are amplified.
For sure.
And I hope we'll find out. We'll all be at PCA soon. We'll see how people respond. But I hope everybody is like, this is a fun fucking industry. Let's just fucking have a good time and kick ass.
There you go.
Because even if you look at, I believe, Half Wheel put out a report today, if I'm not mistaken, that at the end of the year last year, even though people were like, "Ooh, this is not pandemic numbers,"
yeah,
they were still up. People, the number of imports were still up.
Well, see, that's good. That's good. Up is up. It may not be as up, but it's up.
It is, and honestly, when people get stressed and they take a negative outlook on things, I'm like, okay, what do people do when they have a negative outlook on things? They drink and they smoke. Okay, so quit having a negative outlook on the industry. We're fucking smoking. Like, let's have a good time. Let's smoke some new shit. Let's have a good time. And PCA, I think, in my opinion, should be amazing. Should be kick ass.
You know what? And you just said something new shit. So there's your segue into plug-in. What's coming from Aladino at PCA? And then we can move on to a fucked up story from Trey Mac.
Jesus Christ. Okay. New shit.
New shit.
This is my 5th year with Aladino. Was 8th year as the company. And we've grown a lot. A lot of things have been in the work for a long time, and they're kind of culminating into now. So it's a really, really cool spot for me to be in. And I thank the Lord, and just very thankful that I'm at the right place at the right time.
Okay.
So we'll start off small. Things that should have been done that will be done.
Okay.
The Aladino Maduro, which is a great cigar that gets overlooked too often, in my opinion. My favorite size is the Corona. If you haven't had the Aladino Maduro Corona, it's fucking phenomenal.
Okay.
I like all of them. That just happens to be my favorite. Now, after several years of pushing both Julio and Justo, because they're both very traditional and they don't like larger ring sizes.
I get that.
I do too, as a traditional family.
I mean, Julio's favorite size is a Rothschild, which is not even a common size amongst other cigar companies. I mean, that is a very traditional Cuban size.
Yes.
So, I mean, I get it.
But been pushing for a long time. especially this industry. The more you travel, the more you learn. And what I've learned is the further south I go, the milder cigars and the smaller sizes that people enjoy. The further north you go, larger size and the darker cigar. Like,
Okay.
it's just how it is.
Okay.
And we did not have a Maduro that was bold and in a 60 ring gauge. So finally, Julio not only agreed to finally do it, he reblended it just for this size. So the Aladino Maduro, which is San Andreas, will be in a 60 ring gauge Gordo and in a round instead of box press version, because we had also had several people say, I like your Maduro, but I don't smoke box press. Okay, so we took 2 complaints, combined them into one. Let's see how this works.
Yeah.
Now it was reblended for the cigar, which is great because usually when you go to a 60 ring, you lose some whatever flavor you had, you lose a little bit because nothing is ever really blended for a 60 ring gauge.
More filler. Yeah.
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 But they reblended it specifically for this size, and you get a very dark, rich, earthy 60 ring gauge that's going to be MSRP $12.50.
Perfect.
So
There
it's
you
in
go.
the right price range. It's the right size. It's the right cigar. It's something that we should have done earlier, and we acknowledge that, and now we're doing.
There you go.
So I'm very excited to announce that. That's the lowest level of shit that we're bringing out.
Okay.
You want to know more?
Why not? This is the chance. I mean, we've talked about this obviously before when you've been on before, but I mean, it doesn't hurt to remind the people of
We
what's
can
coming.
finally actually talk about it. We had our sales meeting yesterday with all the news. I can actually be candid about most of this shit.
Ooh, okay, good.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
So
good because I
long-
have had some listeners do a little detective work, by the way, about one of the things that you've talked about on here,
Well,
and a little tease over here combined with a little bit of tease from you over here. Suddenly, there's some rumors and some thoughts, and I just, I was going to get to that when you got to it.
I don't.
But,
we'll get to that third.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm going to go ahead and say that you can blame me all you want. But at the end of the day, I'm going to blame my boss, Justo. So
I mean,
we'll get to that real quick.
We'll get to that in a minute. So what's
Okay.
what's the second thing on your list?
Second thing, and this is actually like, I know what's going to happen. People are going to freak out and go.
By the way,
nuts
I
with
am
it.
about maybe halfway on this guy.
We're about the same.
I mean, yeah, you're doing the Elegante, right?
Yeah.
And I just want to say this Candela is smoking wonderfully, very mild, smooth, little bit of spice to the smoking experience, not a lot. It is definitely more subdued than the Robusto was, but it's just a really nice, pleasant, very approachable Candela for people.
Okay, can I say, and you can tell me if you think this is bullshit.
Okay.
I'm doing a party in Pennsylvania, and we're actually going to save this, even though they've ordered their cigars. They're going to sit on them and wait because we want to do this in early summer.
A little bit of spice on the retro hail has picked up.
Yeah, a little bit
at the halfway point, just a smidge,
little bit,
just a little tingle to the nostrils, but not anything rough.
So we are doing a party in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And this is not at the Aladino Lounge. This is a different lounge's idea after they smoked it. They said, what if we did a party that centered, or it's a ticketed party.
Okay.
You got to buy a ticket to get this shit. You buy the ticket, you get the Candela, you get green tea.
Ooh.
And sushi.
Okay.
And I was like, genius fucking idea.
Genius.
Sushi, green tea, and the Candela actually.
See, I'm not really necessarily like sitting here right now thinking I need sushi, but I will say I'm sitting here right now thinking I could totally go for some green tea right now.
Oh, no. The green tea really does match well with.
I feel because when you said that, the minute you said green tea, I was like, oh my God, this cigar is green tea. Like it just like it has that mellowness to it. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no. I like that idea a lot.
And this place always, whatever event we do there, there's always food involved.
Yeah,
And they were like, I think sushi would pair really well with this. I'm like, well, sushi goes with green tea, and green tea goes with a cigar.
is the sushi going to be served on like naked women?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
No.
I've seen that before.
I
Not
do
in person.
know.
I knew it. I know it's a thing. But
If you want me to take it a step further, I do know men in the porn industry that will be at that party.
okay. I mean, I wouldn't want to eat sushi off a naked dude, but you know,
I'm just saying, like, you don't
they
want
do the, you know, they can do them whatever.
you don't want the oolong dong.
Yeah, I don't want to, be like, is that a California roll? Or are you happy to see me? you know? Yeah, no, I'm good.
Well, I do know people that will be at that party that are in the porn industry. They just, well, this is not, there is one woman that's a very prominent name in the porn industry that will be there.
Okay.
We'll just leave it at that.
All right, we'll just leave it at that. So, second thing on the Aladino list. I distracted. That was my fault.
Again, we're building on this. This is a year for Aladino to do things that people are going to be like, what? That's an Aladino? Yeah. So we haven't done a Maduro Gordo. Well, we are doing a Maduro Gordo. Okay, cool.
Okay.
We're also doing Fumanoche.
Fumanoche.
Does that kind of make your balls tingle when you say Fumanoche?
Fumanoche.
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 Yeah, Fumanoche, which translates to smoke night.
Okay.
So we wanted to create a cigar that we didn't have before, that it would be like your last cigar of the evening. This is a nightcap, and we haven't done that before. Aladinos are typically cigars you can smoke all day.
For sure.
We needed a cigar that, like, oh, I associate my nighttime with Aladino.
You're not waking up having a cup of coffee and a Fumanoche.
No, you're not.
Gotcha. I mean,
now,
you can
said,
if you got fucking like bushels of hair on your chest and balls of steel.
Said, now the Fumanoche, it's still, you have to remind yourself, it's still Julio and Justo blending this.
Okay.
It's very balanced. It is smooth, but I talk about it when I tell people, I'm like, well, when we were deciding, we'd already come up with a marketing campaign for Fumanoche before the cigar. And the marketing campaign was more like nighttime smoke. This is something you smoke at night. This is your nightcap, your last cigar of the day, blah, 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 blah. And we sat down in Florida and we had our samples, and they're like, tell us which one is Fumanoche. And we had some great cigars, and cigars that I hope that we use in the future, because they were phenomenal, but they weren't Fumanoche. We'd already decided what Fumanoche was.
Okay.
One of them, I was like, this is Fumanoche, hands down. It's what it is. It's like James Bond, where it's suave, it's smooth, and it'll still kick your ass.
Okay.
And this cigar does not punch you in the face. It is severely dense. It's a very heavy smoke.
Okay.
But you're not getting this spice that kicks your ass. You're not getting this young tobacco that kicks your ass. You're just like, oh, this is super rich and dense. Heavy smoke, dense. Like, oh, rich. Okay. And then about halfway through, you're like, holy shit, it's got a lot of nicotine. So it doesn't punch you in the face, but it will 1000% catch up to you.
Okay.
So it is definitely an after dinner smoke. It is definitely, it's like a dessert cigar. It's also nighttime, have fun, dance, come back to your cigar, back and forth. And so that's why our marketing campaign is more like nighttime activities, like Fumanoche, smoke night. This is what I'm going to smoke at night.
Okay.
And we haven't had that. I'm super pumped that we now do have that. That cigar will be shipping next week.
Okay.
And it's nationwide. It's not limited. However, it is only in one size. It is a 6x54.
Okay. That's a
So
good size. I like that size.
especially for nighttime.
For sure.
I want something hefty, right?
Hmm.
So super pumped about that. Pay
Yeah,
attention.
my last cigar of the day is not going to be a Corona.
No,
No.
your first cigar of the day might be,
Maybe. Yeah. Okay.
and
So
then when I go to the next level,
go to the next level. This is
Which
where the
we-
detective work came into play.
which we did in spades, and we have a cigar coming out. It won't ship until June, mid-June probably.
Okay.
It's a cigar that has not been done in the industry. It's true innovation, which
Okay.
how many times do you get to say that?
I mean, not many. Not many.
This industry has done everything,
Okay.
but not this. This
But
has
not
not
this.
been done. This is a flavor profile that you have not had. And when you smoke it, you won't be able to describe it.
Okay.
We did send out samples to our lounges this past week, and we tried to tell them, hey, smoke it, be cryptic if you post anything, be like, oh, this is something I've never had before. It's unique. It's
Oh, I see. Lounges get it, but media doesn't get,
no,
samples to
nope.
smoke.
Media. Here, I'm gonna go further.
Even favorited media.
No.
I mean,
You're
like
media, and we
like
made
partners.
a very strict guideline. Media does not get this cigar. In fact, there are no samples at PCA either.
My God.
So you either want something that's never been done before or you don't.
Well, if it's what I've heard through detective work, maybe somebody else might have mentioned a little something that they've heard about.
Well, let me just be candid because I'm not here to bullshit you folks. Let me just tell you what fucking happened. So we sent these to our lounges and we told them to be cryptic and, tease it, have fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it, like it's a special treat. Because we want the PCA attention to be on Fuminoche.
Okay.
Because that's a big step for Aladino. It's a new realm for Aladino.
For sure.
And it's coming out at PCA. That's our focus should be on that. This new cigar that's a true unicorn that's never been done before. It's unique. The whole world doesn't know what it's about. Is coming out later.
So don't get distracted by it.
Super limited.
Yeah.
So it's allocated. The allocation's already been set up. You're either getting it or you're not, and everybody that's getting it is getting small doses. Okay? You're either lucky or you're not. You supported Aladino for the past few years or you haven't. Okay? Super simple. Let's not worry about that. Fuminoche.
But then
a post tap. Post happen.
See, you and I might be talking about different things. I might be getting more evidence.
Tell me what you have, and I'll tell you what happened.
I had some listeners point out to me that a certain Mr. Dave Garofalo in the last couple of weeks may have mentioned about a very new cigar, a different blend, one he hadn't seen before.
No. Let's keep it honest. Here's what happened in that situation. I said, we have a new cigar coming out that's never been done before. Blah, blah, blah. That was my directive to other people. That's the directive I said.
Blah, and that is what you said.
And then Dave says, someone's making a Cameroon Puro. We don't know who it is.
But we've heard that there's a Cameroon.
I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. Like we said two different things and put it together.
And by God, the listeners in the parishioners chat, they put two and two together. And I sent it to you and you're like, motherfucker.
Now, can I tell you what took it to another level?
Go for it. Let's get more evidence.
Because that happened. And we're like, okay, well, that's still a large segment of people and the two biggest podcasts in the world here.
Whoop, whoop.
But it's not
technically third. Well, I could argue fourth behind none, but fuck you, Mr. Jonathan. So anyway,
but it's not everyone, right?
no. It's not everybody.
So okay.
But then
the podcast listeners have figured it out. We'll just keep going like we are, and Fuminoche.
But then,
and then one of the lounges, they were cryptic in their wording, but they were not cryptic in the pictures of the fucking product that they.
Oh no, no.
And yesterday, I'm in the middle of a marketing meeting where we're trying to decide how we're going to do social media for the next 9 months. So me and Justo's two oldest daughters, it's literally, we're in a social media marketing meeting. We're trying to figure out, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. This is our timeline, blah, 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 blah. And in the middle of this meeting, we all get emails.
Oh no.
From Charlie Minato.
Oh no.
Saying, why do I not know about the Cameroon Reserva?
Because you don't have parishioners putting 2 and 2 together.
And
Boom.
We're like, how the fuck does Charlie know about the Cameroon Reserva? How did this happen so fast? And then while we're talking, I decided to get on my phone and I'm going through and I look at the girls and I go, I don't know. Maybe it's because Gusto shared a certain post that had a picture.
He does share all the posts where Aladino is tagged.
Gusto, yes. I give him that. That motherfucker will share everything. He loves Aladino, like share. And the girls were like, no. And I'm like, yeah.
Is it still up? I want to see it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure it's still up.
Okay. I haven't looked in a little while.
The pictures are beautiful because the cigar is beautiful. This is super special. This is super rare. It's never been done before. And
by the way, as I'm digging through Justo's Facebook page here, I just want to say, as we're recording this, happy birthday, Justo.
Yes.
It's like, as we're sitting here, basically throwing you under the bus for this guy. I just want to say happy birthday, Justo.
Today is his birthday.
Oh shit. Oh my god, and I even know who it is.
Yeah, you
even know who it is. Oh my god, he's even got his picture there, smoking it.
Yep, it's right there.
Oh my god. Okay.
And I was like, hey, yeah,
holy
definitely
shit.
Post, get some hype going.
Oh my god.
Don't disclose everything, make it cryptic.
Oh, it's so fucking funny.
Oh, it's funny. And Justo's like, oh, badass, bro, fucking repost. And I'm like, oh no. So Half Wheel is mad that they don't know about it first.
Well, you know what? Welcome to being the media. All right. Now I'm going to make a rant, and I have nothing personal against Charlie or Half Wheel or anybody like that, but I am going to make a rant because I'm a fucking journalist. Okay. Like a real life, honest to God, I own a newspaper. I report on shit. I have got a perfect record with the Illinois Attorney General fighting FOIA denials. I want to point that out. Anyway, the point, look at you with the fucking thumbs up thing again. Anyway, I just want to point out that a real journalist doesn't get their news spoon-fed to them by who they're covering. They have to dig. They have to have sources. They have to have people telling them things, and they have to find ways to find out information that people don't want them to know. And in this case, Charlie, you figured it out eventually after Justo freaking shared it. But welcome to being a journalist. I'm glad you finally figured out what it's like. So,
listen,
anyway.
It's actually kind of cool that Charlie was that interested in what we were doing.
He should be. It's a cool sounding product. I'm interested in smoking it. I love the Cameroon from you guys. So, like, the idea of having a Cameroon Puro, that sounds amazing. And my God, like, well, anyway, okay.
Okay, so if
Please
you let
continue.
me go in,
Yes.
here's the line that I have to walk.
I'll get off my soapbox for a minute.
Here's the line that I have to walk, and I hope your listeners understand where I'm going with this. It's awesome. It's innovative. It's never been done before. It is a flavor you've not experienced with any cigar. It's special.
Well, no, because Cameroon's only been a wrapper, right? I mean, essentially, that's where people really know it, is as a wrapper.
Yeah. And I will tell you this. Even this cigar, there's other things that Cameroon can do that are not in this cigar.
My God.
So there's a lot of cool shit that Cameroon tobacco can do that is very different, unique, fun, and we've explored it more than anyone else has. And I would say, yeah, you're definitely going there.
And that's not what I'm getting at.
What are you getting at there?
What is this?
A green stub.
Yes, but in the beginning, I said this was Candela wrapper. You said we don't know what kind of tobacco it is. We just know it's a Candela wrapper. So I'm just asking a question that maybe you can't answer, but I'm going to ask it. Is this a Cameroon wrapper?
No.
Okay. See, that's all it takes. That's how a journalist does it. He asks a fucking question. Anyway, so, all right, please continue.
That doesn't mean we can't do one in the future.
Yeah, true. Okay.
Fun.
Okay.
So we're doing some groundbreaking shit. And our Cameroon already set itself apart. Like our Cameroon is killer. It's our number
It's
two.
super good.
Yeah, it's fucking our number 2 line, period.
Yeah.
And it's that in and of itself was groundbreaking because holy shit, people figured out how to grow Cameroon outside of
Africa. Yeah.
Now we're saying not only that, motherfuckers, we've got a Cameroon Puro, which no one has. So
I can only imagine just how fun. I can only imagine just how sweet that thing tastes.
So I'll take it to another level.
Oh boy.
Not only is it a Cameroon Puro, but the reason it's super limited, very limited. You know, most stores are going to get 2 boxes maximum.
Okay.
So it's going to be, they drop and
hard to come by,
and you go get it, or you're going to miss out. But they'll come back around. Like this is something that we are going to do, but you want to try to find it because you haven't had this flavor.
Okay.
But this was the first, this is going back a ways. This has been a plan for a long time. It took a long time for this to happen.
Okay.
The original pilones that this came out of, the pilones were built in 2016 and 2017.
Oh, shit.
So we've wanted this day to come. We had enough really good tobacco to make that happen in those 2 years. The wrapper is more from 2017. There's a little bit of wrapper from 2016, but most of the good wrapper came 2017.
Okay.
Filler and binder, 2016. So you're not only talking about something that hasn't been done before, something that's innovative, a new flavor profile. But guess what? It's also been in the plans for like 8 fucking years.
Nice. I love it.
It's been aging and it's super fun. It's super nice. However, as someone who speaks for the company, it wasn't the plan to talk about this for another couple months.
I get it.
We wanted to talk about the Fumanoche because that's another thing that we haven't done. and that we're bringing to market. So we wanted PCA to focus around Fuminoche. And then the summer hits and certain stores get
Well,
the Cameroon Reserva.
and that's the thing. It's kind of going to end up being like the PCA last year, where you had the PCA exclusive cigar, and then you had the Sumatra that came out, in the fall. People talked about both at PCA, but you had the PCA cigar. People talked about the PCA cigar, when it came out. It was out for a while. It kind of like went away. It was limited and everything. And right about the time that kind of buzz was dying down, bam, here comes the Sumatra. So, what Fuminoche?
And
everybody, and people will have Fuminoche, which is the big difference. I mean, let's be real. We can sit here and talk about this Cameroon Puro all day long. It's all speculative until people can actually smoke the thing. Fuminoche, we're going to be able to get that here soon.
Yeah, very soon.
Love
and very excited about it. There's not much you can compare it to.
Okay.
Which is also fun, unless I was talking to the girls last night because they were trying to say what are we competing with in this market, and they know what people have told them, and I said no, not really. Like, those are different. The cigar that comes closest to it as far as like its makeup, if you haven't had the La Flor Dominicana Lennox,
Okay.
which I'm a big fan. I love La Flor Dominicana, period. I'm a big fan of their company. The Lennox was something that's super dear to my heart. I love that cigar because it was the first time La Flor put out a cigar that was strong and balanced at the same time. They do a lot of strong shit.
They do.
And I like that. So I love that. But the Lennox, I was like, oh, it's strong, but it's balanced. And they didn't put everything into it. They didn't market everything into it. Mainly maybe because it was different than what they've done before.
Wow.
That doesn't mean it's not a fucking phenomenal cigar. I love the Lennox.
For sure.
And I told the girls, I was like, we're competing in X, Y, and Z with these other companies, but I'm like, really, the cigar that's closest to its actual blend is Lennox, even though that's all Dominican. That's the only thing I can think of that's kind of in the same realm of being strong but balanced at the same time.
Okay.
So if you're a fan of that, try this. It's not the same, but it's kind of in that same ballpark where it's an after dinner. You don't want to do this before dinner. You don't.
What is MSRP on the Fuminoche?
Fuminoche MSRP is $15.
That's not bad.
No.
My personal range of like where I don't really even consider like, ooh, shouldn't I, is $8 to $15.
Yeah.
You go above $15, then I'm like, okay, what am I going to sacrifice in order to purchase two of these? That kind of thing. Whereas like 15, yeah.
For me, what I told them, like, number one, we're not disclosing the tobacco used in the cigar. But I know what tobacco is used in the cigar, and I know the price per pound of that tobacco and other costs associated. It's not cheap tobacco. It's very expensive tobacco. And so it's like, well, if we do it 15 or under, it'll appeal to a broader audience because we want people to smoke this. Maybe not by the box like we do. Like, I would prefer people to buy the Gordo Maduro by the box.
Okay.
Maybe
which makes sense if you're a Gordo smoker and you're a Maduro smoker, why wouldn't you?
Whereas maybe the Fuminoche is not a by the box sale. This is what you smoke at the end of the night. Come in and buy this. This is your last. I want people to finally think of Aladino's the last cigar I smoked yesterday.
Gotcha.
And I don't necessarily want to worry about them buying them at 20 at a time. I want people to finally think of Aladino as their last cigar.
Yeah.
Whereas for most times it's been their first cigar, their second cigar. Or, no. We can also make your last cigar.
There you go.
And to me, that grows things over time, and in a really, really fun way that's still balanced and doesn't just sit you down and make you not want to get up and dance. I want you to get up and dance while you smoke a film, Jay.
There you go.
And
All
in
right.
fact, I'll send some pictures out soon where that's happening.
All right. Sounds good. Well, let's do this and then we'll get into your story. It's time for the Villiger Cigars Entertainment Report, brought to you by
Villiger.
Villiger Cigars, one of the leading cigar and cigarello manufacturers in the world, founded in 1888 and still family owned and operated. Head over to villigercigars.com and check the store locator to find a shop near you that carries them. We guarantee that Villiger Cigars will be a wonderful addition to your humidor and cigar rotation. So before we get into what we're watching and everything, I want to read a little note that I received from Renee Castaneda of Villiger Cigars. He reached out to me this morning about a few things, but he wanted to share a little short story. He says, I was in Santiago, Dominican Republic last week. I was invited by the team at La Aurora Cigars to have dinner with members of the Golden Leaf Cigar Club from San Antonio, Texas. Some of the members told me that they got to know about Villiger Cigars because they're listeners of the Cigar Pulpit, and I wanted to thank you. So, guys, I want to give a big shout out to my friends at the Golden Leaf Cigar Club in San Antonio, Texas. Thank you for listening to what we're saying about the brands that sponsor the show. Villiger, Aladino, these companies, they've taken flyers on supporting the show, helping me bring the show to you twice a week. Even if it is that really short, kind of like pathetic episode I put out on Tuesday. But that's neither here nor there. The bottom line is they're helping me bring you free entertainment. So by God, thank you for supporting the brands that support me. So anyway.
Can I give some support to those brands?
Yeah, I mean, you do.
I'm gonna ask you, this is live, so you can edit this if you want to. I don't give a fuck.
I'm not editing shit, but okay.
Yes, that's my kind of guy. Do you know John Farragon?
No. Okay. I don't think so.
So John Farragon worked for some other companies way back in the day in the Kansas City, St. Louis area.
Okay.
Great friend of mine. Love this mother, and he loves tobacco. John is fucking awesome. He went to work for the wine industry for a few years. I thought he was gone from cigars forever, which broke my heart because I love this guy. He came back last year, and he's kind of in charge of putting together the team for La Aurora to make its comeback.
Okay.
And John is like literally one of my best friends. And if you guys haven't really done anything with La Aurora and John Farragon, like, talk to me. Let's make it happen, because John is a guy that would not jump into anything unless he knew their direction was solid.
Okay.
So let's get John on the show, even if I have to be there. I love this. I will fuck with John. I don't give a shit. But John is fantastic, and I don't know how many people used to smoke La Aurora back in the day, but they used to do some fucking kick-ass shit. Some of my favorite cigars of all time came out of their factory back in the 2010, 11, 12, like that little era. Yeah. And John is the guy they've brought back and hired to help them kind of bring that back.
Okay.
And I'm excited. I think they've got some new horizons on the way. And if I could steal John and have him for Aladino, I would in a heartbeat. But I totally understand La Aurora stealing him and having him build up where they're going. If you want to have him on the show, dude, like
everyone,
dude's a fucking rock star.
There you go. Okay.
So I'm putting my plug in before I get into my fucked up shit, because like no one can say, oh, Trey Mac's a fucking dirty bastard. Like, no, Trey Mac tried to say some good things about his friends before he became a dirty bastard. Okay.
Well, first we got to talk about what you've been watching and entertained by. Anything? I mean, it's been a week since you've been on, so realistically, I get it that you maybe haven't had time for much.
No. Hold on.
I did start a new show this week, but I can wait.
No. What did you start? And then I've got fucked up shit.
Silicon Valley. I started watching Silicon Valley on HBO. I'm 4 episodes in on this show now. It's from Mike Judge, Beavis and Butthead, Office Space, and all that. Show. Oh my God, I love this show so much. I've seen clips of it before, but but I started finally watching it, and it's so like dry, funny, but at the same time, there's that nerd element. And it's got the one Indian guy that I think he's the funniest freaking dude.
It's dry, it's funny, it's nerdy, but overall, it's way too fucking real.
Well, no, yeah, I can understand that. Okay, Silicon Valley TV show cast. What is this guy's name? He's been in I'm gonna butcher this. Kumal Najani.
No, I know exactly who you're talking about.
This dude, I mean, I love him in all kinds of shit. And when I saw he was in the show, I was like, oh my God, this is great. Now, TJ Miller's in this show, and TJ Miller got a lot of shit post Deadpool 2. He was in Deadpool and Deadpool 2, and he gotten some shit. I think he was a Me Too victim or something happened there. But anyway, so no, I'm loving the hell out of this show so far.
No, it's fantastic.
Yeah. So what have you been watching?
You really want me to do this again?
I mean, if you've got something, if you don't have anything, we can move on.
Antarctica people.
Oh my God. Ooh, I have a new documentary for you. Hang on. Well, continue with your Antarctica for a moment while I look this up.
It's
on Paramount Plus. This new documentary is on Paramount Plus. So
all I'm saying is it's the one place on planet Earth we don't know shit about other than the ocean. We don't know shit about the ocean. We don't know shit about Antarctica. And I'm saying we probably know shit about both because, we've been to the moon, right? I mean,
you son of a bitch. You brought it back to the moon.
Surely we know about the ocean and Antarctica, right? I mean, it just makes sense. But the further you go into it, there are a lot of documentaries. Some of them are shitty, some of them are good. I just want people to look into Antarctica.
Okay.
And just start diving into it because it's a wormhole. You can take it where you want. I've gone to all of the areas and I try to keep things on a level plane. I'm like, okay, this info, that info, what makes sense, what doesn't make sense. And if you want to do a show on Antarctica at some point, I'm totally down.
Oh, for sure.
But there's a lot of shit for people to look into, and I think they should.
All right. Well, we'll put a pin in Antarctica, and we can come back to that on another episode because otherwise this one's going to go 3 hours, and I think that might be our. We may have gone 3. I think the moon episode was 3 hours.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, but the one I wanted to recommend to you, it is from 2021. And it's from Oliver Stone, but it is JFK revisited through the looking glass.
It's fantastic.
Because he has not stopped since the movie. He's fixated on JFK.
He's fixated, but he's wrong in a few areas. Through the looking glass, it's good. It's I'm not gonna bullshit you. It is good, and people should start there. And if that grabs you, and you're like, whoa, there's other places to go that go deeper and deeper and deeper.
I was listening to something, and I don't remember what it was, but they were talking about how one of the Secret Servicemen rifles Have you heard this? That like that one of the Secret Servicemen may have accidentally fired off a round, and that round may have been the one that actually killed Kennedy. And that accounts for the magic bullet, because if you take it from the position of the Secret Serviceman, that bullet goes perfectly straight through, and doesn't have to zigzag all over the fucking place.
Goes way deeper than that. Way deeper than that. That's a ploy to be like, oh, an accident happened. There's no fucking accident.
But they covered that up. That's the thing. Nobody you
covered
don't
that
hear
up. They
about
covered a lot of other things up because they had plan A, B, C, D, E, F, and G all in motion at the same time, just to make sure, not only one, make sure that it happened, but then also to make sure that nobody knew the true story. Nobody knew what they actually did. And, but if you look deeper into it, you can figure the true story out fairly easily. In fact, the car that was driving had a bullet hole through the window. And Jesus, how much do you want me? This could be
this could be its own fucking show. It sounds like
the motherfucker that took office actually took possession of that car after it got a new window. That's all I'll say.
Okay. Brinker, by the way, is dying to do a show with you because he's all in on paranormal and conspiracies and everything else as well. So like the two of you, it's just like this perfect merging of like just fucking coast to coast type shit. I don't
like the misnomer conspiracy guy. I'm like, dude, I just look at shit and this doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense.
I get it. But it's interesting. So, okay. Have you watched anything else, or are we moving into the story? Are we finally moving into the story that we've teased?
I think we should move into the story because, like, I've probably spent at least 6 weeks on Antarctica and nothing else. But
okay. So, as I said, we talked last episode about your infamous flight from hell. And then after that, as I'm editing that, you're fucking texting me about another story that involves the ladies' restroom at a TJ Maxx. And I had to have you back on to tell that story.
Pause for restroom break.
Really? You're gonna get up and leave?
I gotta.
Okay, fine.
If I'm gonna tell the story,
you know what?
I gotta be
Go
comfortable.
ahead. I will talk about my monthly cigars while you're gone.
All right, I'm gonna go pee. And
okay.
Then I'm ready to go.
I mean, I guess it'll be appropriate given what I do know about the story. So anyway, guys, while the restroom break is taking place, let's talk about My Monthly Cigars for a moment. My Monthly Cigars, it's a premium cigar subscription service where you can get a box of cigars sent to your door every month. Come in a variety of different sizes. I get the Robusto box, which is 4 cigars for $30. He also has the El Presidente, which is 8 cigars for $50. And that's 2 of everything that's in the Robusto box. And then while you're over there at mymonthlycigars.com, putting in your order, make sure you use offer code PULPIT, PULPIT, get you free shipping on your first box. And the other thing you want to look for while you're over there at mymonthlycigars.com is fucking good coffee, because fucking good coffee, you don't want to be a fucker. You want to drink fucking good coffee. Now, I do want to point out that there is a coffee giveaway going on X or Twitter, whatever you prefer to call it. So if you go to X or Twitter and you follow fucking good coffee, that's FAH King Good Coffee, you can get details on X, and you can participate in the coffee to get giveaway to get some free coffee. The other thing you're going to want to keep your eye out on is that coming soon, there's going to be pre-sale information for the fucking good cigar. Nick Gervais over there at fucking good coffee and My Monthly Cigars, he's got his own cigar coming out. It's the fucking good cigar, and pre-order information will be coming soon, so keep your eyes open for that. It's mymonthlycigars.com. And Trey's back. Perfect timing.
Really good timing.
Yeah, no shit. It's a rapid piss there, man. Your prostate hasn't gone to shit yet.
Not yet. Not yet. I'm close to 40.
It
We're not there
oh,
yet.
dude, let me tell you, weird shit happens when you turn 40. All of a sudden, you think you're done peeing, and by God, no, you put the fucking gun away, and you're dribbling in the. I mean, you gotta watch it. You gotta watch it.
Listen, you got that new bed, that new mattress.
It's shit nobody talks about.
Listen,
Guys don't fucking talk about this.
yeah, because we don't all have Hat Man going.
Well, no, the problem is nobody fucking talks about it. And so then at that point, when you turn 40 and you start fucking piddling, all of a sudden you're just like, something wrong? No. Every fucking dude apparently starts having this shit, but nobody talks about it.
No, and that is an issue. Like
It's embarrassing.
We should talk about it.
Well, yeah. There should be warnings, damn it. Anyway.
Listen, I'm not here to mince words with anybody. I always tell the people real shit.
You do. You do.
Whether you like it or not.
By the way, before we go into the story, I know I keep teasing this and everything. I just want to give my final thoughts. That Aladino Candela, I did finish the Aladino Candela Toro, smooth all the way up to the end. I will say in the little nubby part of the final third of it, the spice level did kind of ramp up, not significantly enough to where it was like, oh my God, it's super spice bomb or something like that. But the retro hail at the end had a lot more pepper and spice to it than obviously the beginning and the halfway point. I will say I got a little hint of like a salty component at the very end, like just at the very end. Look at you. There's that thing from the beginning of the show again. 24 minutes or an hour 31. Either which way, you can see what Trey is showing.
Salty.
Still don't.
Salty.
Not entirely salty. Anyway, super good. I enjoyed it. It is different than the Robusto. So, is that an award?
Yeah. Trophy.
Okay. All
right.
right.
Hold on. Let me turn it around.
It's a trophy. What is it for? It's the old FU worst manager, Bad Balls 2023. Okay. There you go.
They don't know about that award yet.
No, I'm not aware of that award. So, all right. So, let's get into the story.
Okay. This is a men's issue. And I know a lot of men that have been through issues. But as men, typically we don't talk about them. I'm going to talk about them and share one of my stories. Even though it's not very couth, but it's very honest. It is what happened. And please pay attention, men out there, young men, old men, pay attention, because what happened to me could easily happen to you.
Okay.
So this goes back to a few years ago. Does not matter when, but it was before 2020. And working at the store, this is when I was owner / face of a cigar store.
Okay.
And this young lady comes in. And average in all ways, not ugly, not hot, totally average. Maybe slight bit hippie. Okay. I lived in Lawrence, Kansas, so hippie's the norm.
Okay.
And she came in with her friends and they bought some cigars and went back to the car. Before they left, the one girl comes back and she gives me a piece of paper, because this is how old I am. Gives me a piece of paper with her phone number and says, I thought you might want this. She leaves and goes off into the night.
To which you're thinking, that's awful presumptuous of you.
Yeah,
but
because I did not want this.
Okay.
She again wasn't ugly, but wasn't like what I went for.
Okay.
But a few weeks go by. And maybe you're Randy one night and there's nobody that you want. So I pull out this number out of my billfold and text it. Hey, what are you doing tonight? What do you know? Nothing. Let's get together. And we got together, and we got together again, and we got together again. Let me tell you what, folks. This girl, and don't this is a little bit of a PSA. Don't discount these women that aren't fucking 8s, 9s, and 10s. Okay.
For sure.
Because some of these chicks will rock your world underneath those thresholds.
Okay.
And this girl, I would put it like a 6.5.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, a little above average, but pretty much average.
Okay.
But then we hooked up, and it was literally, without a doubt, still to this day, I'm 39. The best sex I ever had in my life.
My God.
And I continued that, of course. I mean, now to make the story a little bit weirder, she was a Lawrence, Kansas hippie. And so I would wake up in the morning, and this crazy chick would be making me tofu tacos at like
Okay.
6:30 in the morning. And for about 6 months, I had to act like, oh, these tofu tacos are fucking great. Because I wanted the tofu
I was
taco
gonna say,
later that night.
because that's what you had to do in order to continue getting the best sex of your life. I get it.
Yeah. In fact, it was so good that her roommate, whose name was Sam, I won't say the rest of her name, Sam was a pretty good looking girl in her own regard. They moved during this tumultuous time because Sam thought that our sex was too loud and crazy.
Oh God.
That if they moved to this new location, they would be in separate floors and everything would be fine. It would be better. The first night we hooked up, Sam's giant painting fell off the wall and
Oh my
broke
God.
underneath of us. So me and this hippie, we were full bore. Okay.
Okay.
At the same time, I had an English bulldog.
Okay.
His name was Tonka.
Tonka.
Tonka
It's a good name
is-
for a bulldog. I like that.
Tonka. I've owned a lot of dogs. I've had German Shepherds, Doberman Pinschers, you name it. I've border collies. You name it. We train dogs. That's how I grew up. But I got this English bulldog in my early 20s that turned out to be the best dog I've ever had. Tonka was extremely intelligent, even in his own fucked up way. And in fact, I thought I knew how to train dogs because I had trained German Malinois. I had trained German Shepherds. Like I thought, like I know how to train dogs. And this bulldog was like, what the fuck am I doing wrong? So I read some extra books, I learned some extra tricks, and start training this bulldog because he's my boy. Like I would back then I was head of personal training for the University of Kansas. I had a mohawk and I was fucking jacked, and now I'm not, but back then I was.
Okay.
And this fucking bulldog would do everything that I did. He would lift weights with me. Like if I was lifting weights, this fucking bulldog would grab like he always grabbed the 15-pounder that I had because he could pick it up in his jaw and he'd be like, rah, rah, rah. Everything I was going, rah. He would do it with me and then we'd drop it and he would just fucking drop it. Like this bulldog was the shit.
Okay.
And but there was one thing he didn't like. He did not like getting his nails trimmed.
I know a lot of dogs that don't. So yeah.
Yeah, he was bad.
Okay.
It was like war.
Okay.
So I'm banging this hippie on a very regular basis. And at the same time, I'm trying to trim this dog's nails.
How are you trimming a dog's nails while you're banging a hippie?
No, it's not at the same time.
Not at the exact same time. I follow you.
But these stories overlap.
Okay. Okay.
And at one point in time, I'm trimming Tonka's nails. And to the people that don't know, I had an umbilical issue that has since been corrected. I've had reconstructive surgery on my umbilical. But back then, I had this giant navel. When I say giant, I'm talking, I had a big ass belly button where like people took body shots on me because it was fun because they got a double shot.
Okay.
So I had a big ass navel. And at one point in time, while I was trimming this dog's nails, he got really upset, like he always did. And he got a hold of my navel.
Okay.
And ripped. And I got a big old cut from my belly button down.
Okay.
Still cut his nails, still banged the hippie. Everything was fine. At the same time, I'm also working for the University of Kansas Medicine, and I'm working in 3 hospitals daily.
Okay.
Okay. That happens. So all this is going on at the same time. The dog, the girl, working for 3 hospitals.
Okay.
And one day I wake up and I'm feeling fine, like I always did. And like back then, I used to shop at TJ Maxx all the time. And this is back in 2016, 2017, when transgender bathrooms started becoming a thing.
Okay.
But they weren't a thing everywhere. They were only a thing in like very liberal cities.
Okay.
I happen to live in one of those very liberal cities called Lawrence, Kansas. University of Kansas is homesteaded there.
Okay.
And so I said to myself, well, shit, this means I can go to any bathroom I want. So one day I decided to take a shit in the TJ Maxx women's restroom.
Okay.
To which I found out was the greatest place to take a shit on planet Earth. It was clean.
Why? I was gonna say why.
It was very clean. It was quiet. It was private. Because TJ Maxx caters towards women. They don't clean the men's restroom. I'd been there several times. But I found out very quickly that they clean the women's restroom diligently.
Okay.
And so after the first time I took a shit there, I was like, well, this is where I need to take all my shits.
This is the pooping place.
This is the pooping place.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I started doing this on a regular basis. I only took shits at TJ Maxx in Lawrence, Kansas, women's restrooms.
I still highly recommend the lobby restroom at a hotel.
No,
if
it's
you're
always
traveling,
a good. It's always a
you
good
know,
bet.
Yeah, because
Always.
everybody always goes to their personal room. Whereas if you find the lobby bathroom, it's usually like never used.
And you don't have to be a guest there. If you just
No, you walk
in
in
and go
like you own
straight
the
in. Yeah.
place. You walk in like you got a room and you just find it.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah. Great for travel. Anyway,
But this is before I was traveling.
it's true. Okay.
I found TJ Maxx women's restroom. So I'm there on a Saturday morning, like a lot of times, and I got to take a shit. So I go, this is my normal thing.
Yeah.
And taking a shit there in the women's restroom. And I look down. And my cock and balls.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Were covered in black spots.
That's not usually a good thing you want to see.
When I say covered in black spots, I don't mean there were a couple. I mean, there were thousands.
Oh my God.
And thousands is not a miscommunication.
Okay. Okay.
I look like a goddamn giraffe down there.
Okay. It's unsettling.
And I'd never seen this before, and I didn't feel sick. But I'm taking this shit, and I look down, and I'm like, whoa, whoa, what the fuck is this?
I mean, I'm gonna ask a question.
Yeah,
Did it hurt? Did it hurt?
No, nothing was wrong. I felt no pain.
So aside from just the visual appearance of it, everything was fine.
I would not have had any idea that anything was going on until
Had you
I
not
looked
glanced down.
and I was like, "Ooh, ooh, wait a minute."
Yeah, no. That's unsettling.
And when I say 1,000 black spots, I'm not fucking around.
Okay. Uniform in size, some smaller, some bigger.
No. All the same, tiny.
Okay. Very tiny.
Scrotum, taint, you name it. Up the shaft, black spots everywhere.
Okay.
And I immediately go into this faint feeling. And I'm
yeah, because like your cock is dying.
Oh my God. The last thing you want to happen to yourself is happening to you. And that's a really bad feeling. Like bad.
For sure.
So I know I need to go to the doctor. I need to go to the hospital. But I know that if I go there, I don't want to like show them my cock and balls.
Because you work at 3 hospitals in the area.
Yeah. So
yeah,
because these people employ me.
Yeah.
So I decide to like just take out my phone and take a bunch of pictures underneath.
So you're taking dick pics of your spotted cock in the ladies' restroom,
the women's restroom
at a TJ Maxx.
Yes, that is correct. Not what was planned, but is what happened. And thank God no one said anything. No one but I knew what was going on.
Okay.
And I leave TJ Maxx. I walk out, get in my car.
Let me ask a question. Is the TJ Maxx ladies' restroom a one-holer or is it a multi-holer? It's a one-holer. That's even fucking better. All the privacy. I like that. Okay. All right.
Yeah, but if any woman needs to shit.
Well, yeah. They're going to be waiting outside the door and then you come sauntering out.
And they hear cha-ching, cha-ching,
cha-ching. You mute your phone at least. Oh my God.
Yeah, well, I didn't know about this back then. This is like 2016.
You were also very concerned about your black spotted cock.
Yeah, no, I had spotted dick if any Europeans are listening. So then I leave and I call a doctor, not at one of the hospitals I work at, because that was the last thing I needed. Let's call a hospital I don't work at. Let's figure this out. And I get an appointment real quick, actually, probably based on the pictures.
Oh my God.
And go to this hospital. And wouldn't you know, I had a female physician.
Of course you did.
And I'm like, okay. And she's like, okay, well, I've heard like you're here for some STD that you're worried about. And I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, I've got an STD. I know it's from banging this hippie. And my cock and balls is rotting off.
I've got patchouli, Peter.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Patchouli Peter is a good way of putting it.
Okay.
And I know I've got some STD. My cock and balls are definitely rotting off. And I just need you to tell me what I can do. Like, what can be done? How do we save this?
Okay.
And maybe not. Maybe, and like, I'm literally at the point I told her, I'm like, if I'm ready to die, if I'm dying. Because I had never heard of this. I'd never seen of this. But what I saw visually was
unsettling.
Very, very, very unsettling.
Okay.
And so this woman is like very concerned very fast. And she's like, I haven't seen the pictures yet. And so then she loads them and she sees the pictures and goes, oh my gosh. And I'm like,
to which you're like, if it weren't for the black spots, I'd be I'd be humbled right now by you saying that. But
but
the black spots. Yeah. Okay.
And then I was thinking, like, I gave you pictures so that I wouldn't have to do this in person. And then she's like, I need you to take your pants off. I got to look at this.
Oh my.
And I'm like, God, that's the whole reason I took pictures, so I wouldn't have to do this. And this was a young doctor, probably in her 30s. And so I'm like, all right, fine, stand up, pull it out, show it off. I show it to her, and like, no shit, you can't make this up. She grabbed a magnifying glass.
I mean, she's got to look at the spots. You said they
Yeah.
were tiny spots.
Yeah, I got to tell myself that.
Okay.
But she grabbed a magnifying glass, and she's holding this and holding that, and fucking. I'm like,
oh my God.
And I'm on the verge of tears. And I tell her while she's holding my cock and balls, I'm like, just tell me what I have so I know how long I have to live.
Oh my God.
And she says the words, if this is an STD, it's one I've never seen.
To which you're like, fuck me. Yeah.
And I just crumbled. I'm like, oh fuck. And she's like, give me some time. And she fucking left me in this room by myself. And I'm like, she's never even seen this before. Like, what kind of shit have I picked up? Like,
oh my God.
I'm freaking out, man.
Yeah. With good reason.
And when I say she's gone, I was in that room by myself for like well over an hour and a half. A long time with yourself and your thoughts.
Yeah.
And then she walks in and she goes, I know what you've got. And I'm like, Doc, give it to me. I'm ready. Give me the hard shit. And she goes, it's not an STD. And I'm like, pardon me. How is it not an STD? It only affected me from a small, like halfway to my thighs up my cock and balls.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, you've got a cut on your navel. And I go, yeah. And she goes, well, you've got a staph infection.
Oh, shit.
That only affects men. And it's very rare. But it's a staph infection that attacks every hair follicle you have.
Oh, my God.
And I'm a hairy bastard. I don't know
and
if this.
Yeah.
I'm a hairy fuck. Every hair follicle I had was infected and black.
But
cock, balls, taint, all the way down to my mid thigh. And so this doctor is like, you don't have an STD. You have a staph infection that's very rare. And I'm like, well, are my cock and balls safe? And she's like, we don't know yet.
oh my God.
Oh my God.
We don't know yet.
So now I'm freaking out. Like, how the fuck did I get this staph infection? And she's like, this is so, we don't know how you got this, but you have it. And she's like, the only way I found it. And she picked up a textbook and she was flipping through pages. And she's like, in one of her medical textbooks was a picture that resembled my cock and balls.
Okay.
And I'm like, yep, that looks like it. And she's like, well, we're going to do a few things. And I'm like, well, what's that? And she's like, one, you got to drop your pants. We're going to give you a shot of penicillin just to make sure. So they shot my ass full of penicillin to, just in case I did have an STD or an STI, whatever. Gave me the shot of penicillin. And then they gave me 2 more shots to go after a staph infection. And it took 2 months. 2 months of having a speckled cock and balls. And when I say speckled, they say that most men, apparently, I didn't know this. Most men do not have hair on their shaft. But if you have high testosterone levels as a young person, you do have a hairy shaft. And let me tell you what, I have to shave my fucking dick. I do. I have a werewolf dick. Okay. So that's why I
What?
had fucking black spots all over my shaft and my sack and all the way down.
Okay.
And they had to give me a bunch of other steroids to slowly get rid of the staph infection. In the meantime, I never told the hippie. And
Well, yeah.
the
I mean,
hippie was the best
but
sex of my life
but you cut her off at this point because you had a speckled cock.
because I thought she gave me an STD.
Yeah, yeah.
The whole time she's wanting to go because, and I say, when I say this is the best sex of my life, there's no way I'll have this level of shit again. Don't discount these average chicks. Do not discount them because you don't know what's hiding behind door number 2.
Oh my God.
And so I didn't want to say no to her, but I didn't want her to see the Easter egg,
Yep. Yep.
So I kept playing it off. She never saw it, thank God. And it was good for like 6 months. But yeah, I went from thinking that I was dying and my dick and balls were going to rot off to finding out a staph infection that was actually caused by my fucking bulldog.
Oh
Which,
my God.
as the nurse put it, the bulldog did not have the staph infection, most likely, but he ripped your navel open. And then you worked in 3 different hospitals that had staph infection all
And
over.
caught it somewhere.
And somewhere you touched a railing and then touched your navel and blah, 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 blah. Long story short, the bulldog ripped my belly button open. And then the hospital I worked in had staph and I fucking touched it and it spread to my cock and balls.
Okay.
And
you discovered this in the ladies' restroom of a TJ Maxx.
Of a TJ Maxx. That's where it started. And to this day, listen, if you're not shitting in TJ Maxx women's restrooms, you're missing out.
Okay.
They are very clean. They're very private. No one goes in there. And I started doing that shit because the laws changed. And when I started going in there, I was like, well, TJ Maxx, they pay attention to the women's restrooms way more than they do the men's because how many men are shopping at TJ Maxx?
This is true.
And I was like, this is a great place to take a shit. It's clean. It's nice. And so that's why I was doubly confused that I found spotted dick in the restroom there because this is the cleanest place I've ever taken a shit.
Okay.
So that said, a couple of things. One, it's okay to take a shit in the women's restroom at TJ Maxx. It's very clean.
Okay.
2, men out there, if some shit is going wrong, it's probably not as bad as you think, but go to the doctor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. If you got a spotted dick, it's not normal.
Well, yeah. No. Yeah.
They got creams and fucking injections and they got steroids. It took 2 months to get over, but go do it. Don't be a fucking bitch. Go take care of that shit. And 3, shit just happens, buddy. Okay. And when shit happens, don't put it off.
God.
Go fucking address it.
Oh God. I'm so happy right now.
So, like I've told you, like I got a bunch of stories. That one is not easy to tell, and
I give you credit for putting that out there like that. I do.
It's yeah, no, I mean, I hope it alerts people to like, listen, weird shit happens. Go get it taken care of.
For sure.
Because it's probably not as bad as you think it is. I thought my cock was going to rot off.
But it didn't.
But it didn't.
Didn't.
It's definitely here to stay.
There you go. There you go. Oh God. Well, that was definitely worth the wait.
It was short notice. I told you I'd
God.
tell the story. I don't give a fuck. Like,
Oh God. Definitely worth the wait. So
you have questions?
no, I think you've sufficiently covered a lot with that story. You were very detailed. That was good. I mean, I kind of
Have
interjected
you ever
with my
had
questions
anything
as I had.
weird happen to your cock and balls?
Can't say as I have. I'm proud to be very clean in terms of down
Go
there.
go get tested.
Okay. I
You don't
mean,
know. You don't know.
well, no, I mean, but
You might have AIDS.
dear God, I don't know. I don't think I'd be as big as I am if I did.
Well, on top of this, like if you got injected, go get checked for VADS.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about the VADS, the vaccine-induced
It's not.
AIDS.
Yeah, it's not bullshit. Like it's
Yeah,
really happening.
yeah.
If you did get the injection, please go get checked. Your health is very important, and immuno compromised situations are not good, and you should know before you stick your weenus in the Venus.
There you go. There
And
you go.
that's all I can tell you. Like,
It's a good PSA for the
listen,
people.
when I was going through the spotted dick situation, I didn't bang anybody because you don't know what you're doing.
Well, no, yeah, you don't want to be a super spreader. I mean,
No, and here's this
that's
hippie
just
like
rude.
fucking wanting to ride this shit to the moon, and I'm like coming up with I can't see.
I can't. You broke it.
Yeah, yeah. But
Oh,
if
fuck.
you do have a spotted dick for any reason, it may not be an STD. Go get that checked out. Fucking get it taken care of. It's it's all good. And if you do
Might
have
be a
spotted,
rare staph infection.
it could be. And if there's any doctors out there, and I know some that listen to this podcast on a regular basis. Look it up. You'll know what I went through. Staph
Okay.
of the follicle.
Okay. All right. Well, it's that time of the show where I tell you that I'm available on Instagram at the Cigar Pulpit. We're also on Facebook where we have the Cigar Pulpit Parishioners group. You can get in on the fun there. On Twitter/X and on YouTube where you can watch this. And guys, don't forget to sign up. If you are coming to Pulpit Fest, make sure you go over to Eventbrite. That's BRITE, eventbrite.com. Search for Pulpit Fest and get your complimentary tickets there. We do need you to sign up and get the tickets for headcount purposes. So, make sure you sign up so we know how many people to plan for. But otherwise, that's coming up on August 23rd through the 25th in Palm Coast, Florida at the Ash and Ale Lounge. Trey Mac, where can people follow you?
Trey Mac Travels on Instagram is the best way to reach me. And I do answer DMs. So hit me up. And, if you're a troll or a spy from Russia, I will kick you the fuck out and expose you.
There you go. All right, then. Well, we've learned a lot this episode, both about Aladino Cigars and Spotted Dick. And I want to thank you for taking time out of your evening to do this for me.
I told you I would tell you this story.
It's greatly
But
appreciated.
we're also on the eve of PCA, so I wanted to get that through first.
Oh no. That's important stuff.
People
We're also on the eve of St. Patrick's Day, where people make drunken mistakes and they go out and they do things with people that they meet at bars. And so maybe, just maybe, if you have a spotted dick on Monday, keep that in mind.
or
That's all
if
I'm saying.
you're going after a lady and she's got a lot of hair follicles that are black. Maybe.
Staph infection. You never know. So
Maybe take a step back.
there you go. Well, guys, this has been another sermon from a cigar pulpit. I'm Nick.
I'm Trey Mac.
Everybody stay safe and stay smoky. I completely forgot to tell you, and I'm just going to tease it. And then I'm going to say later, guys, after I tell you what this news was. Did you see that Zachary Ty Bryant got arrested for a big old DUI out there in California?
No way.
Yeah. Oh, dude, he's in the cop car telling the cops, like, I'm going to be out anytime, blah, blah. It's like, no big deal. I'm going to be out real soon. And then he's asking cop, how long am I going to be in jail? And cop's like, sounds like you have a plan to get out pretty quick. But anyway, Later, guys.
Dude, you should have brought that up. I'm like, yeah, been there, been fucking there.
Oh,
Send that to me.